emails come through this week, and one of them was from a regular who goes by the name of Macho Man. I think there's an issue with how the AB centres play. The talent is there, but the structure and the depth is not. You look this season so far, when the centres combined, they've had a good game together, but I can't name one. That to me screams centre structure/system more so than talent, especially when you look at Barrett, Tavatavanawai, Proctor, Tupai, Ioane, ALB. That's a lot of awesomeness there that's not quite working. Brenna, when you look at the structures and you look at the modern game, how hard is it to set alight your midfield partnership given the way that opposition come in at you and what you have to do in order to beat these defences?
The centre line, in terms of what the All Blacks are running, is quite a sacrificial line. Like if you look at the down ball, more so the trend is one where it's off a line-out or a scrum, that tells Geordie's getting that ball nice and flat, and a Billy Proctor, even Rico Ioane, when he was at centre previously, runs that sacrificial line to be able to go at the back, and we've scored multiple tries from that structure phase. So, do people want to see the ball with ball in hand and having the centre one-on-one? Like, yes, that's what we talked about with Rico in terms of when he was at centre. How can we be able to use his skill set of his speed to be able to get him more one-on-one and more in space? But I think with what I am seeing at the moment with the centres, it's been able to run very good lines, and Jordie Barrett being that ball distributor and how he's able to use his skill set to be able to get the ball to space. And, could they do that maybe a little bit wider when Billy Proctor or if Rico's there, or whoever Puntapai was there on the weekend, if they are out on the edge? Look, if they get good go-forward ball, then there's an opportunity to be able to get more of a one-on-one. But I don't know, Drip, for what I am seeing, it's more of that sacrificial line, and I guess what they are doing now in scene work is them kind of setting up to be able to score the tries. Like if you look in the French series, how many times we talked around them working collectively together. You look at how many times the centres have to run that line to be able to fix them in. Damien McKenzie or Bowden Barrett, or where Will Jordan gets the ball away to the edge. It's because of what that line and I guess what the centres are asked to do for the All Blacks in this attack structure at the moment.
Probably the most impressive centre I've seen this season is Hugh Jones for the British and Irish Lions. Why? Because he wasn't up against rush D. The Wallabies don't do rush D. So I wouldn't say that you would, we get fixated on the All Blacks, rightly so, they're our team, okay, and that's fixated on that 13 spot. But I wouldn't say Suolii's been set alight. I wouldn't say Jesse Creel's been set alight. These are world-class players. They're not... It's just the nature of defensive structures. James O'Connor gave the blueprint of who's probably the most important in the whole attacking structure. Is 10's ability to have the courage to let it go.
Yeah, so the bridge pass has replaced centres making breaks and distributing to
Well,
wings.
centres have become such a key cog in setting the outsides alight. Rush D is now going, I want to shut those two down.
Yep.
So it's changing the game. They are now having to be sacrificial lambs. If that pressure doesn't come, the 10's got to have the ability to know that, and they can give and use. Just like we saw Suolii off the kickoff, and he gave that little out step, boom, try, Tom Wright. Okay, so you give them time and space. You give Billy Proctor time and space, he'll do his thing. But it just doesn't happen. It's not going to happen. The Springboks aren't going to let it happen. New Zealand isn't going to let Jesse Creel happen. Do you know what I mean? So the 10 in attacking structures and the width and the communication of 15 and your wingers will probably dictate how the attack goes.
Right, so people can almost forget about the idea for the majority of a game, Bryn, that a midfielder is going to take an outside break and put their winger away. It's just not how it works unless the game's busted open.
Not necessarily. I think if you look at Suoli'i in their maybe the third or test match against British Irish Lions when he steps that one-on-one, but if like Jip was saying, if that ball is quick and you give them the ball within the space with a quick shift, then it's a one-on-one with a prop, or it's a lock, or it's someone that you're able to be with a mismatch with your speed or footwork. But I just think with how the game is at the moment, the line and being able to be that sacrificial man like I am talked about, and the depth of that 10 to get that ball out the back, to get that last defender, whether it be a Colwell or it might be a Jesse Creel, both of them flying, is to then get that ball to a Will Jordan in that space to get around the attack. So if those centres don't run that line, and look, if you look at all world rugby at the moment, not just at international level, they're running the exact same lines. The centres are running the exact same lines. We saw Tui Pelotu and I guess even Bundyaki hitting that short ball to Jones. If they don't want to be honest and they want to fly out the back to a 10 or winger, they're behind that and they think that it's going to go out the back, then the short ball's on. We've seen that a lot of times with that structure that I'm talking about. So I I think, to finish on that point, if there is good go forward ball and it's a quick shift and they have that kind of footwork like a Swaliti showed in that British and Irish Lions test, then great, you have the opportunity to do that. But with the Lions speed pressure, it's been able to, having your 12 being that distributor and your 10 being able to get that ball away, whether it be run, pass or kick from that depth from the number 12.
Yeah, and most of the time those opportunities come offline breaks. Okay, so if we use the Sualiti one, because it's the best example, he's the best athlete. Jorgensen makes a break off the kickoff. British and Irish Lions are retreating, no time to set, no time to bring the line speed. More importantly, the ball goes directly to 10. So often now it goes through a forward pod through there. That's all time. So the more goes the forward pod out the back to the 10, you've just given me that pass, more time to get up in the face of the centres. So it's, again, comes back to the 10 going hot, I want it now, or it's going to go through this pod. So then this is the only option you have as the midfield. Unless you want to be 30 metres deep, but that's risky as well because you can draw that defence out, but you've got to get it to the edge. Because if you get shut down that far behind the advantage line, that's probably worse, if anything. So it's making the right decision off the basis of what happens in the collision area, not to come back to what we discussed before. But if you win that collision, you get quick ball, that will dictate the time and space of your attack.